Get the cake right to the sight sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. I'm on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Du Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Du Valley.
Good evening and welcome to Terrace Talk, and welcome to the latest edition of Meet the Miller. And it's a big one tonight, lads. It's Mr. Sir King Lee Bush. Welcome, Mr. Bush. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Bez. Looking forward to this one.
Good. Right. So we'll start with a little bit about yourself. So first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to Rotherham United?
So I grew up in Sheffield, as a lot of people know. I'm not from the area. My dad always supported Rotherham. My mum's side was all Sheffield Wednesday. But from the age of 4 years old, my dad took me to Millmore to watch Rotherham. The first ever game I attended was against Leyton Orient. And I was always going to support Rotherham. It's the team my dad supported. Even though, like I say, I grew up in Sheffield. And at the time, Rotherham wasn't the greatest of teams. Sheffield Wednesday had a decent team. So obviously I got a lot of stick at school for supporting Rotherham. And I did play at the Young Owls as well, which made things worse. So I'd come home with Sheffield Wednesday kits, which my dad were none too pleased about. So it was different. And I used to get free tickets at Hillsborough as well. So I used to watch Wednesday play when they played Man United and Liverpool, the big teams. I used to go and watch them games, but support the other team because I didn't like Sheffield Wednesday. So, yeah, it was fun growing up. But my dad took me from little, and I've been all over the country watching Rotherham with my dad, home and away. So, yeah, unfortunately, we have to blame my dad.
So that actually brings on then. So, what is the earliest memory you've got of Rotherham? Like what you can remember or think of?
The earliest memory was a really good memory, really. We had a really good team. Bobby Williamson. I remember us getting promoted with, they used to make these cups called Hot Shot Bobby. So basically, Bobby Williamson was like top scorer then. He was getting hat tricks in games against Birmingham. I remember that. I think we beat Birmingham 5-1, and I think Bobby Williamson scored 4 that day. Absolutely phenomenal. I just remember going to Millmore with my dad on the Tivoli and just loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Well, okay. So how long have you supported Rotherham? I know you've kind of mentioned your age. Well, how long have you supported Rotherham? And
we'll be around, since 4, and I'm 48 now. So a long time. Yeah, wow. So I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and I've seen the indifferent. So, yeah.
And lastly on this section, so what's the one thing that got you hooked, and why Rotherham United in the end?
I think because of my dad supporting the team, I saw how passionate he was for Rotherham United. He grew up in Rotherham. A lot of my family on my dad's side was Rotherham fans. And what I liked about Rotherham compared to Sheffield is obviously because it was a town, there was more of a sort of togetherness of fans that were together. Rather than Sheffield Wednesday, it was a big club, and with us, I thought everybody was together, and it was like a family. It was very sort of lots of families going to the game, and I just enjoyed it. I just felt part of Rotherham, even though I wasn't from Rotherham. I've never actually lived in Rotherham at any stage of my life, really. I used to go out in Rotherham to the Zone and the Liquid nightclub and stuff like that on a Monday night, but never actually. I played football in Rotherham as well. Got good friends that have played for Rotherham as well. So yeah, I've just always been a Rotherham fan.
Okay. And then what like would a typical match day look for you? So, you know, from first wake up in the morning right through to the end of the day. So what would, just talk us through that day? What would be a perfect day for you?
So obviously it's a bit more difficult now. I work a lot. I'm out of the country a lot at the minute. So I don't go as much as I used to. I mean, me and my dad used to go to every single home game. We had season tickets. We used to go away. I've been away on a Friday night at Halifax. I've been to Carlisle. I've been all over watching Rotherham. So basically, a typical day would be I would go pick my dad up. We would have food at my mum and dad's, and then me and my dad would have an argument because he'd say I'd be wearing something that he didn't like the look of. He said, "Oh, people think I'm gay or something, walking around you with that on." So my dad would have an argument before we went to the game. I'm not standing with him at game like that. Then we'd drive to the match. We'd then argue because I got rap music on in the car and my dad hated rap music. So that'd be an argument before we got to the game. And then we get to the game and we would be best friends, me and my dad, just talking about the game and cheering the team on, hoping that we'd win, which more often than not we didn't. But we'd come back and all the arguments would be forgotten and we'd be just talking about football, and my mum say, "Get back," and my mum would say, "Oh, you've made up now, aren't you?" So yeah, that's what vivid memories of that.
So is it always been you and your dad? Did you maybe when you got to, I don't know, young adulthood or whatever, did you start going with anyone else, or was it just you?
No, not really, because I mean, obviously, I went with Shelley and a couple of other lads that I knew from Rotherham a couple of times when my dad couldn't go. But it was always something I did with my dad, and not because I wasn't from Rotherham. All my friends were from sort of Sheffield, so they all supported Sheffield Wednesday. So I didn't really have a massive sort of friend base from Rotherham. Mine was all all of my friends were mainly from Sheffield. So it was something that I used to love doing mainly with my dad. But yeah, I did occasionally go with, I think I went to a few away games with Shelley and Miggy as well, who I used to play pool with when we played in the pool league in Rotherham. But mainly it was my dad, yeah, mainly. And now obviously I've taken my son as well. He's been a few times with me. If I go now, I take my son usually. Right. And my dad still comes.
Did you used to, or maybe you do now, I don't know, did you ever have any match day traditions or superstitions or anything like that?
Yeah, I did actually, and it actually worked. So I remember going on the coach to Wembley when we went the first time when Nigel Jempson scored, and I remember seeing two magpies on the roundabout at Rotherham before we got onto the motorway. And I knew at that point we would win the game. So if I saw a magpie before the game and it was only one, I would salute it and say, and then I'd be superstitious all day that we're going to lose that game. And more often than not, we did if I seen just one magpie. But if I seen two, I'd be happy. So when we were going to Wembley, I seen two on the roundabout. I said to my dad on the coach, "We're going to win today." I seen two magpies, and we did. So yeah.
So what you're saying is, if we were going to the away game and I were driving down, for example, and you don't see two magpies, I've got to kick you out of the car. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to lose, mate.
Okay, fair enough. What's your favourite away day? So it could be, an actual particular game, or it could just be a favourite away day generally.
One of the best away games I went to I've been to quite a few. I really enjoy going to Stoke when we used to play Stoke back in the day. I used to enjoy going there. I always enjoy, but my favourite away days are always Sheffield Wednesday because I've got so many friends there. that support them, and I've seen us win so many times there. I remember one time sitting on the Cop end when Rotherham played in the League Cup and we won on penalties. Remember, we had Ruben Reid and that. Yeah. We won that penalty shootout at the Cop end, and I was sat on the Cop. And when the final penalty went in and we won, I stood up and cheered, and then I got a whack at the back of my head, and my mates are like, "Why?" Like, it all kicked off, but I was on the Cop end, and I was like, Rotherham won, so I weren't bothered. And then I seen the 2 years in a row where we scored in the last minute, Darren Garner, that wonder strike, and then Richie Barker. And they were just amazing scenes, singing "You Never Beat the Millers," walking out of Hillsborough, and so many angry fans, and then seeing like walking up Leppings Lane, seeing loads of my mates and them calling me some obscenities, but me just laughing at them, saying, "What are you going to do? You'll do absolutely nothing, mate." You know what I mean?
Sounds like good times. What would you say has been your best ever moment as a Rotherham fan?
I will always say, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the Wembley's Nigel Jempson winner, the first ever time at Wembley to win the first trophy I'd ever seen Rotherham win, the auto windscreen. That was special. But for me, still the one that always stands out was the Alan Lee goal at Millmore. I remember going on the pitch thinking, we've made it. We're going to play Sheffield Wednesday because back then Wednesday was so much fun, and I never thought I would see growing up Rotherham play Sheffield Wednesday in a league fixture or Sheffield United, because there was always that much better than us. But then we come on a level playing field. We were going to be playing them in the league. So the realization that day on the pitch, the Alan Lee goal, with it being in the last minute, just outshines. I mean, Alex Revel goal was special at Wembley as well, from 2-0 down. But I would always say probably Alan Lee against Brentford, who are now in the Premier League.
Incredible, yeah. And what would you say has been the toughest or most emotional moment watching Rotherham?
For me, was the points deductions and having to play in Sheffield. I think that was the most embarrassing thing, that we had to go and play in Sheffield. Obviously, from living in Sheffield, and then all my mates mocking me because we were going to be playing at the Don Valley Stadium, was quite tough for me really at the time. And I didn't quite know where the club was going at that stage. And I just thought, you know, it could have been sort of curtains at the time. So yeah, probably around that time where we moved to Don Valley, and we had, just before that, the points deductions were quite tough.
Did you go to Don Valley as well? Did you actually?
Yeah. I had a season ticket at the Don Valley. I went to every game. It used to always shock me. You know how far you was away from the pitch. Did you ever go to Don Valley?
Yeah,
so,
right, yeah.
You know, you go and you would buy drinks from the snack bars, whatever you want to call them, and they would always take the lids off. And I'd be like, I'd be like, why are you taking the lid off my drink? Like, because it's freezing anyway there. My drink will freeze. And they were like, well, you could throw it on the pitch. And I'm like, mate, if I could throw that Coke onto the pitch from my seat, I'd be in the Olympic javelin team. There's no way I'm getting into the pitch from my seat. It's miles away. You can barely see the players. There was about this big. But it never got an atmosphere of that. But I remember one night it did. We actually sent the place rocking, and I went on the pitch that day. I think, can you remember, what was the player? We had Pablo Mills. I had a picture with Pablo Mills on the pitch. It was the playoff final.
Aldershot, was it Aldershot? Yeah.
Aldershot, yeah. I remember that. That's the only time I believe we ever got an atmosphere in that stadium. And it's so sad, really, when you look back. So we had like Alfie and such good players that would have graced the New York Stadium or even Millmore, but we were playing in that crap stadium. I remember one time, I think U2 did a concert and we had to postpone some games because there was still on the pitch. That was bad times at Don Valley. But I did go,
I do remember, actually, you're right, with the, I'm pretty sure we had the conversation in the ground ourselves about, well, I'm not going to be able to reach the pitch from where we're sat, we're miles away, with bottles.
Yeah. Mad, and they used to take the bottles off you. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Which player, past or present, means the most to you, and why? Obviously, a Rotherham player.
For me, a player that always stands out to me is because it gave me the happiest times. I think he was the best sort of finisher I've ever seen play for Rotherham. And it would be Bobby Williamson. I think he just stands out to me of a player I've never seen that could finish that good. And every week he seemed to get, when I was watching him back then, he just seemed to score like hat tricks and a brace. He was just fantastic. So yeah, Bobby Williamson for me.
Okay, this is about the same answer actually. If you could bring a former player back in their prime, a Miller, who would that be? Would that be the same, or would that be someone different?
Yeah, I would probably say Bobby Williamson. He'd probably get about 40 goals in this team a season. Yeah, Bobby Williamson.
You can tell that you're obviously, it sounds like Williamson was almost the first player you really remember. He must have been, because I was young for him.
That's what I mean. He got me hooked. When you asked the question, what got you hooked? It was watching that team. We had so many good players. There was John Buckley. There was so many good players we had in that team. But Bobby Williamson I mean, he didn't do anything after Rotherham or before. I think we got him from West Brom. And then I think he went to Kilmarnock after. And we didn't get a great deal for him, but he was just
I think it was towards the end of his career when we had
him. I mean, I think we got him on a free transfer from West Brom. But yeah, he was just phenomenal in front of goal. I've never seen a player like it. I think the closest I've seen Rotherham have to him after him was Mark Robbins. And I loved Mark Robbins as well as a player. I thought he was, I mean, I remember signing Mark Robbins and I'm thinking, flipping heck, I can't believe we signed him. I remember him scoring for Manchester United in cup finals. Fantastic when we got him.
Right. We'll move on to the main event then. So we'll go through your all-time favourite Rotherham team. Now, obviously, you've already told me before, and you've chosen a 4-4-2 formation, so it's quite straightforward. We'll start with the goalkeeper. So who it is and why is your favourite?
So the goalkeeper I've gone with is Mike Pollitt. Absolutely phenomenal goalkeeper. He turned into Judas at one time because he ended up leaving us to go to Chesterfield. I remember being on the Tivoli and all I could hear were ping, ping, ping. People were throwing money at him, pies at him, roll it in the crossbar. And he actually won't come to the thing. The ref was like telling him to go. And because there was that bad feeling. And then I think the season after, he ended up coming back to us.
He did,
but then I just think he was a phenomenal goalkeeper. He went on to play in the Premiership for Wigan and did really well in the Premier League as well, which I always knew he would. It was a very close call between him and Victor Johansson, but I just think Mike Pollitt did it for longer for us. And he went on. I'm not saying I think Victor will as well go on to play in the Premiership, but as things stand, Mike Pollitt had a great career in the Premiership as well. So I've gone with Mike Pollitt for that one.
Okay. Right back, you're number 2, right back.
So the right back I've gone with is Ali Pickering. I think he was a fantastic footballer. He just had so much style and he was just so good at defending, but he was cultured. He could play a bit as well. So for me, Ali Pickering stands out as the best right back that we've had.
Yeah, I have to say, obviously watching the other two, I was surprised at their picks. And for me, I think
Marvin Bryan and Rob Scott. Yeah,
I did find them strange. I mean, interesting. We've not had a lot of good right backs, really. I mean, some might argue Tavernier, but he was only there for a year on loan.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we made the agreement when we did it. We weren't going to put loan players in, so they've got to have played for us permanently. Otherwise, I probably could have edged to Tavernier because I think he was absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, he was only on loan, so I can't go with him. I've gone with Alex.
Left back, our number 3.
So no surprises. I've gone with Paul Hurst. I think he was a lot of people's pick. I think everybody's picked him so far at left back, but I think the length of time he stayed with us, and he always gave 100%. I don't think, and he was always probably a 7 out of 10 every week. He never really let you down. He never seemed to have a really poor game. So I've gone with Paul Hurst.
Okay. First of our centre backs.
So I've gone with Martin McIntosh first. Again, very close call because I did like Carrie Arneson. I loved Carrie Arneson as well. I thought he was fantastic. He could play a bit as well. He was cultured. But I just think defensively, at that period in time, we got promotions with McIntosh, and I think he was just colossal in those promotions. So I've gone with McIntosh.
You might pick him anyway, but do you think that McIntosh and Swales are probably our best ever centre back duo?
Yeah, and it's and obviously my second choice is Chris Swales.
Okay.
I think that is purely because it's McIntosh and Swales. I think just that combination worked because McIntosh could play. He had a bit of pace. Swales were just a bit like a more of a battering ram. Yeah. Richard Wood, nothing got past him. Didn't have the massive of paces, but he'd run through a brick wall for you. He took all the numps and bumps, and McIntosh could play as well. So I think they just complemented each other, and that's why I've gone for the actual partnership of that.
Yeah. Swales also chipped in with goals. I'm sure he got 8 goals this season. Yeah. Was there any centre back who came close? You've already mentioned Arneson. So was there anyone else who came close?
There was one, but he was more of the. I'd only just started watching Rotherham, and it was Paul Stancliffe. He come back the second time. I think he was a quality centre back, but he was coming towards the end of the career when I see it because he'd come to Rotherham back again. I think he'd played for us before. He did have a really good career at Sheffield United. But yeah, Carrie Arneson was another one who was someone that I looked at and thought maybe. But yeah, I think I'm happy with the 2 centre backs that I've gone with there.
Let's move into midfield then. So we'll start with right wing, and I think I already know the answer to this one, since we've just been talking about him, but fire away. So
Sedge, for me, one of the best players to come through our academy. Very, very skillful, could beat a man. I think his crossing was underrated as well because I think he could put a great ball in as well. Went on to play in the sort of championship for Preston for many years, but also had great success with under Ronnie Moore as well. So for me, he was a player that got you off your seat, and I remember well.
Okay. On the other side to him, left winger.
The pig killer himself, Ben Pringle, a wonderful left foot, absolute quality, just an absolute unbelievable footballer. Promotions with us, amazing goals, amazing performances. One of probably Steve Evans' best ever signings.
Good choice, Kate. So the first of 2 midfielders.
Another no surprise, another one of Evans's master signings, Lee Frecklington. He had everything. I couldn't believe we signed him when we had him on loan initially from Peterborough, and then we ended up signing him, and what a signing he turned out to be. Chipped in with goals all over the pitch, got Rotherham United. He was just, if you built a Rotherham United player, he would be it. He had everything that you'd want of a Rotherham United player. I'm so happy he stayed with us as long as he did throughout his career. I'm surprised he stayed as long as he did, but he did, because I thought he was definitely a top-end Championship player, but yeah.
Yeah, he's surely got to be in most people's team, their favourite team or their best team, whatever you're doing. And then the other midfielder?
So the other midfielder is Sean Goodwin,
Okay.
Raggy. So for me, this guy should have played in the Premier League. He was that good. You look at Dango now, got very similaristics. I think Dango's probably going to be a better player overall than probably Sean Goodwin ended up being. I don't think he fulfilled his potential. I know he had a chance, I think it was to move to Everton, and it kind of fell through. But for me, he was just a phenomenal football player. It was worth the entrance fee alone. Again, won a trophy. He was in the team that won the auto windscreen. So, yeah, great player.
Yeah, it's a shame that he had a injury-ridden career, didn't he? I think that's
injury, and obviously he had some sort of off-the-field issues as well at times.
But, yeah, of course, yeah. Was there anyone else in midfield then who was close for you to be picked? Or?
Yeah, there was quite a lot. Tony Grealish, I rated him. Stuart Talbot, I think he was a fantastic player. Dan Barlasser. There's so many good midfielders we've had, and I think it was between him and Barlasser in the end. But I don't think Barlasser stayed long enough to make the best team. Right. I think he left too soon. Same as Ogbenny. Ogbenny come close with a winger, but I just don't think they stayed long enough to get that sort of status for me.
Okay, right, striker. So striker number one.
So no surprise, Bobby Williamson is my number one. I think, like I said, they made cups for him and T-shirts, Hot Shot Bobby. He was always in the top scorers for the division. And yeah, fantastic player. I think he would.
Yeah, you already social already, to be fair. And then your last striker?
Last striker is Alan Lee. I loved Alan Lee. I remember not loving him at first. I think we got him on loan from Burnley, and I thought, Jesus Christ, who's this guy? Can't hit a barn door. I don't think he scored in his loan period at all. And then we ended up buying him. And we're like, why have we bought him? But you could see he always give 100%. And then obviously he just started to improve. And then he added goals to his game. And I was gutted when we sold him to Cardiff. I don't think I've ever been that disappointed we've sold a player since we sold Sedgwick when he went to Preston. And then I haven't felt as bad since we sold Victor to Stoke on the last one. So, yeah, Alan Lee, I was gutted when we sold him. Fantastic player. Had everything as a number 9. Strong, held the ball up well, could finish. Quality footballer.
Yeah, and he just proves actually sometimes you have to be a little bit patient with strikers, I guess. And
yeah, like I say, at the first, he looked dreadful.
He didn't score for 10 games, I think he was. He didn't score for 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying, actually, when they sold him, that was probably I was really concerned. And we didn't actually go down that year. I don't even remember. We sold him, stayed up, and the year after went down. So,
yeah,
the Championship. Okay, right then. Manager. Who's managing this glorious team?
There's only one man for me. The only man that's above me is a king, and it's Ronnie. I remember his homecoming. I was so happy we get him. It was at the Zone nightclub, Liquid, whatever it's called at the time.
Yeah.
He did a meet and greet there in the evening. I went to that as well. And then I remember him, the first game, he come down the back of the Tivoli onto the pitch, and he had all balloons and everything. And yeah, he gave me some of my best moments ever supporting Rotherham. So yeah, King Ronnie was the one for me. It were very close though. There was another manager that was close to Ronnie, but Ronnie was the main one for me.
Okay. And so out of those memories, what was your favourite Ronnie Moore memory then from him managing the football?
Obviously the promotion to the Championship, the Allen League goal, that team. Even in the Championship, I think at some stage we was about 7th in that league. And had this spent in January, I think we would have got actually promoted to the Premier League. But
I think we were actually 5th, I think, in February.
Yeah.
And we went to Reading and lost 3-0, and then they overtook us, and we just dropped like a stone. And incredible.
Well, I think as well, it was at the time where there was the talk that Ronnie were going to Ipswich.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In that, when we dropped, I think Ronnie also had some problems with his wife at the time. I think she turned up at the training ground, threw his clothes at the training ground, and I think it all went downhill from there. But yeah, and I don't think obviously the Booth sort of backed him to take us that next step. But yeah, Ronnie for me. I did like Steve Evans as well. He's brought some of the best memories to me as well. So second place would be Steve Evans.
Okay. And then what about your most disliked Rotherham manager? Someone who you really didn't like at all managing the club?
There was a couple. Phil Ensign, he were bad.
Yeah, promotion though, to be fair to Phil Ensign.
He did. Alan Nil. I didn't rate him.
Alan Nil, okay.
No. But the worst one would be Danny Bergara. That team were awful.
Fair enough. So that's your 11 done and your manager sorted. Let's move on to the current crop of Rotherham players and current staff. So, first of all, what's your honest take on the current squad and the management?
I think the league's poor. I think the fact that we're 15th in League One, I think that's underachieving currently. But there has been signs recently that we can sort of potentially turn things around. But it's a poor league, so I think it's very odd to judge at the minute. Because I think he's got a very good squad, but is he managing it correct? Tactically, I'm not 100% convinced on that. So at the minute, I would just say I'm seeing it how it goes.
Okay. Which player has impressed you the most this season so far?
Simple one for me, Dango. I think he's absolutely unbelievable football player. Just everything you want from a midfielder. He's dynamic. He gets around the pitch. He gets stuck in. He takes the ball under pressure. He seems to have so much time on the ball because he gets into good spaces, into good pockets. Dango's impressed me the most.
Okay. And where do you think we will realistically finish this season?
I still think we'll finish third. I think the league is that poor. I think looking at the league, I think it'll be Cardiff, Bolton, and then Rotherham third.
Okay. What do you think the club needs to do next to kind of push on to that next level? What do they need to do?
They need to do a lot, mate. To be honest, I think it's run a bit of a shambles off the pitch. I think they need to sort out contracts so we're not losing players for next to nothing. And I think in January, depending on where we are, they need to ensure we're not selling Sam Nombe Hall, Marthia, any of those players. We can't be selling them if we're wanting to get promoted. We've got to start and act like Rotherham United are a big club in League One, because we are. We pay the highest ticket prices, and I think we deserve a product on the pitch that resembles that. So I think we've got to sort of invest in the training facilities, in the academy, because if that's what we're wanting to do, is produce younger profile of players, you have to have an environment to do that. And I don't think we currently have. So for me, the training ground, the academy needs to be massively updated. And I think to get the fans on side, we need to improve the match day experience for the match paying fan. So fan zones, all that type of stuff need to be introduced to get the fans back on side, because I think it's very divided, the club at the minute. Some fans, you can't say anything wrong about Tony Stewart, and some can't stand him.
Yeah, and actually, I was going to ask you about Stewart. What are your thoughts on Stewart at the minute? I know you've been up and down, and I know you've been negative towards Stewart recently.
It's a difficult one, because on one hand, I'm here, he saved the football club, he took us out at Don Valley, put us into a new stadium. But on the same token, he's charging extreme rent at the new stadium, very similar to what the Booths did. So I'm just a bit concerned with his actions of late. I feel like he's checked out. I feel like he's not fully committed. He don't turn up to fans forums. He doesn't seem to put anything in place to make the match day experiences better. He's lowered the wage bill. So for me, I think he's checked out. That's my personal opinion. And I think the club can only really move forward if we got a young, ambitious leader like myself running the club. It needs somebody like me. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
Get your wallet out then. Right, okay. Let's do some quick fire questions. So I'm just going to reel off like two answers, and you've obviously got to say one of them. Which one you'd rather do? So, first one is Garner's 90th minute goal or Richie Barker's header in the last minute against Wednesday. You could pick one.
Garner.
Okay. Beating Barnsley or beating Doncaster?
Doncaster.
Okay. Millmore or New York?
New York.
Okay. Will Hoskins or Jerry Yates?
Will Hoskins.
Okay. Dusty Miller or Miller Bear?
Dusty Miller.
Ken Booth or Tony Stewart?
Ken Booth.
Okay. Rotherham to win the Premier League or Rotherham to win the Champions League?
Champions League.
Okay. A pie or a sausage roll that match?
Sausage roll.
Okay.
Gordon Hugo, sausage roll.
Yeah. You either sit on the side or sit behind the goal.
This is very contentious, isn't it? So I always sit on the side. But prior to people's opinions, I don't sit behind the goal because I'm afraid that I'm going to get beat up. But I always prefer my view on the side. So whenever I go to away games, people won't be surprised that I won't be in the away end unless it's on the side. So if it's on the side and the away end isn't on the side, I will sit in the main stand on the halfway line.
Okay. And the last one is a home game or an away game?
Away game.
Okay. I've got a few more questions and then we'll wrap it up there. So, again, it's part of the quick fire one, really. What's your favourite Rotherham chant that we do now or that we've done previously? We might not sing it anymore. I don't know.
Wings of a Sparrow. Sheffield Wednesday one.
Yeah, straightforward one. Your favourite kit or best kit we've ever had?
The Buckter one with the red pinstripes, what Bobby Williamson played in when we won, when we got promoted. Okay. That was very close between the Wembley one as well with Nigel Jempson. I like that one as well.
Okay. Most underrated player we've ever had?
Kevin Watson.
Yeah, good shout. The last one then. So describe Rotherham United in 3 words only.
3 words only. Ambitious but brilliant.
I like it. Well done. So there we have it then. So thanks, Lee, for joining us on this episode of Meet the Miller. You've been a great guest as always. Unless you've got anything else to ask me, we can leave it there and we'll see.
Thank you guys for doing it. Obviously, if anybody does want to be part of Meet the Miller, if you send us a direct message on Twitter, Facebook, X, everything we're on, send us a message. We can pre-record it, agree a time with you, and we're happy to have you on. Like I said, we don't discriminate anybody on Terrace Talk, so as long as you're a Rotherham United fan, you are welcome on. We are going to be doing it with the Premier League fans as well, so any Premier League fans, we're going to start doing Meet the, I don't know, Spurs fan or whoever it is. We are going to be doing that in the coming future as well, because obviously they got a bit jealous of our Meet the Miller and they wanted to start doing similar. So I've agreed to put that on for them as well. So yeah, anybody wanting to do Meet the Miller or meet the whichever team you support, just send me a direct message and I'll get that sorted for you. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.